in the heart of a lush, untouched forest, where the symphony of birdsong mingles with the gentle rustling of leaves, there once was a remote village whose customs and beliefs had remained unchanged for centuries. The villagers dwelled in harmony with the wilderness, respecting the spirits of the trees, the rivers, and all living creatures. Among these people lived a young girl named Amara, whose story would become legend, a story of love, transformation, and the mysterious bond between humans and the natural world. Amara was born under the sign of the full moon, and from her earliest days, the elders whispered that she was touched by fate. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her laughter rang clear as the mountain streams that flowed nearby. Her family was neither wealthy nor poor. They tilled the earth, gathered wild herbs, and lived simply, content with the gifts that nature provided. Yet, there was always something about Amara that set her apart. She seemed to understand the language of the forest, the subtle signals between animals, the hidden messages in the wind, the quiet wisdom of the ancient trees. As Amara grew, so did her beauty and her kindness. She would often disappear for hours, wandering deep into the woods, returning with stories that fascinated the other children. She spoke of secret groves where the sunlight danced on mossy stones, of wildflowers that opened only at dawn, and of a great, silent guardian that watched over the forest. Though her tales were met with awe, some villagers worried about her affinity for the wild places. They cautioned her, warning of spirits and creatures best left undisturbed. Amara, however, was unafraid. One day, as the village prepared for the annual festival to honor the spirit of the river, Amara ventured further into the forest than ever before. The air was thick with the scent of blooming jasmine, and shafts of sunlight filtered through the dense canopy, painting the ground in golden patterns. Following a path known only to her, she arrived at a secluded pool nestled between ancient roots. The water shimmered, impossibly clear, and she knelt to drink, cupping her hands. As she leaned closer, she noticed movement, a ripple beneath the surface. Suddenly, a massive python emerged, its scales iridescent, catching the light in 1,000 shifting colors. The creature was enormous, yet its movements were graceful, almost regal. Amara did not scream or run. Instead, she felt an overwhelming sense of calm, as if she had been expected. The python fixed her with a golden gaze, ancient and knowing. From that day forward, Amara returned to the pool often. She spoke to the python, sharing her hopes and dreams, her worries and joys. The villagers noticed her change. She grew quieter, more contemplative, yet there was a serenity about her that was unmistakable. Rumors spread, and some began to whisper that she was in communion with the spirits. One night, as the moon rose full and bright, the village was awakened by a series of strange dreams. Each person, from the youngest child to the eldest elder, dreamt of a great serpent coiled protectively around Amara, its eyes filled with love and wisdom. The elders interpreted these dreams as a sign. The python was not a threat, but a guardian spirit, and Amara was chosen for a special destiny. Soon after, a terrible drought struck the land. The river shrank, crops withered, and hunger threatened the village. The people were desperate, and the elders turned to their ancient rituals, seeking guidance. During a night of prayer and meditation, the village shaman received a vision. The only way to save the people was through a union between human and spirit. Amara, the chosen one, must marry the python, the guardian of the forest. At first, the villagers recoiled at the idea. The thought of a girl marrying a serpent was both terrifying and bewildering. Yet, as the drought worsened, hope faded and desperation grew. Amara herself listened quietly as the elders explained their vision. She felt no fear, only a deep sense of purpose. She remembered the python's gentle eyes, the peace she felt in its presence, and she understood that her path was intertwined with the creatures. With a heart full of courage, Amara agreed. The wedding was unlike any the village had ever seen. At dawn, the villagers gathered at the sacred pool, their faces solemn but hopeful. Amara wore a dress woven from wildflowers and leaves, her hair adorned with white blossoms. As the first rays of sunlight touched the water, the python appeared, its vast body gliding silently through the pool. The shaman recited the ancient vows, invoking the spirits of the earth, water, and sky. Amara and the python were bound not by rings, but by a garland of jasmine and vine, a symbol of their union and of the harmony between human and nature. As the ceremony ended, a gentle rain began to fall, soft at first, then growing into a nourishing downpour. The villagers wept with relief and gratitude, for the drought was broken and their prayers answered. From that day on, Amara and the python lived together at the edge of the forest, in a small hut woven from reeds and branches. Though their union was unconventional, it was filled with affection and mutual respect. Each morning, Amara would sing to the forest, her voice carrying through the trees, and the python would watch over her, its great coils protectively encircling their home. The villagers, once fearful, came to accept their marriage as a blessing. The crops flourished, the river ran clear, and harmony returned to the land. As the years passed, stories spread far beyond the village, of the girl who married a python, of the rains that returned, of the balance restored between humans and the wild. Travelers arrived, seeking wisdom, and Amara welcomed them, sharing the lessons she had learned. She spoke of trust and acceptance, of seeing beyond appearances, of the power of love to bridge even the greatest divides. But the legend did not end there. Some say that on moonlit nights, Amara and the python would walk together through the forest, the serpent transformed into a handsome young man by the magic of their bond. They would dance beneath the stars, their laughter echoing through the trees. Others believed that Amara herself had become part of the forest spirit, her soul forever entwined with the guardian python, watching over the land and its people for generations to come. The tale of Amara and the python became a story told to children as they drifted off to sleep, a reminder of the mysteries that lie just beyond the edge of understanding, of the courage to follow one's heart, and of the deep, abiding connection between all living things. It was a story that taught the value of respecting the natural world, of embracing the unknown, and of finding beauty in the most unlikely places. In time, the forest flourished as never before. The animals thrived, the rivers teemed with fish, and the village grew prosperous. Yet, the people never forgot the lesson of the girl and the python. They honored the spirits with offerings and songs, tended the land with care, and taught their children to walk with reverence through the woods. And always, at the heart of their community, was the memory of Amara, the girl whose love transcended fear, whose courage brought salvation, and whose story would live on as long as the forest stood. Generations later, when the world outside the village changed and modern life encroached upon the wild places, the legend of Amara and the python remained. Visitors from distant cities marveled at the harmony between the villagers and their environment, at the wisdom embedded in their customs. Some dismissed the tale as mere folklore, while others sensed a deeper truth, a truth about the bonds that hold all life together, invisible yet unbreakable. For those who ventured deep enough into the forest, who listened with open hearts and quiet minds, there were still signs. A flash of iridescent scales beside a hidden pool, the echo of a song carried on the breeze, the sense of being watched over, protected by something ancient and benevolent. The girl and the python, it was said, had become more than legend. They were the very spirit of the land itself, a living reminder that love, in its many forms, can transform the world. And so the story endures. It is whispered by the wind in the trees, carried in the laughter of children, and honored in the rituals of the people. It is a story of a girl who followed her heart into the unknown, who bridged the gap between human and spirit, who taught her people to cherish and protect the world around them. It is a story of hope, of courage, and of the enduring magic that binds all living things together, a magic that, once awakened, can never truly fade. Thank you so much for listening to today's story. If you found it meaningful and want to hear more short, inspiring stories from Story by Maria, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. See you in the next story.